What is going on, everybody? Getting XL here. We're talking about the new blog there that just dropped in Monster Hunter Outlanders. What kind of weapon are you planning on using? What kind of weapon of choice are you going to be using? I'm thinking about going great sword myself, but let's go ahead and talk about the blog itself and get into some things. See if we can break down some of the details in what we saw. So here we have it right here. Land Adventure Guide. So it says, "Hey adventurers, today marks the start of Monster Hunter Outlanders closed beta. If you were selected for this playtest, which I was not selected, just follow the instructions and dive right in. To mark the launch of the playtest, we're excited to share even more game information today. This is your handy guide to Land where your adventure begins. We hope it helps." So what do they have for us? Start off with this paragraph right here: a new hunting experience for mobile. In this title, experience the action packed fun of Monster Hunter series through a control system optimized for mobile devices. So, the initial feedback right now, we're hearing from people. People are enjoying it. Again, if we take a look at the actual picture, let's go ahead and get to the picture itself. All right. So, if we're looking at the screen right here, obviously we see the interface there on the right hand side. Some people saying it kind of covers up the screen a bit, but I mean, I don't know what else you're gonna do. We're on mobile, so you gotta have somewhere, right? You gotta have somewhere to put your fingers. But I mean, it. I don't know. I'm interested to what you think. Again, I was not in on the beta, so I don't know. But people are saying so far that they're enjoying it. Now it says each of the three classes features its own distinct play style and powerful skills such as adventure ultimates, buddy ultimates, and the co-op skill that adds even greater depth to your hunt. So they're going with those three main styles of play, right? We have the disruptor, which is kind of a controller type, the assault type, which is your damage dealer, and I already forgot. So we got support. No, support is more of a healing. Disruptor is more of control. Assault again is your damage dealer. So those are the general play styles that you're going to have. So what are the details here concerning our picture? Well, it says, let's take the fated adventurer. He's an assault class as an example to go over how to use the long sword. You're going to build up your spirit gauge by using chain slash through basic attacks. Then you're going to use skill number 1. Okay. So we got our chain slash using basic attacks. Then we're going to use skill number 1, spirit blade chain slash, to increase the gauge's level. Now, I still do not know if that main button in the middle, the main attack button there in the middle, is that the skill or is it one of these other buttons? So I'm assuming it's that main button right there in the middle is the skill. If somebody knows otherwise, please let me know. I'm very curious to understand how the control function works. We'll move on to our second picture. Right. It says by tapping or holding skill button 2 as needed, you can perform the foresight slash or eye spirit slash to counter monster attacks. Now, on the previous video, we do have some gifts. If you take a look at the previous video, we do have some gifts showing this in action. Okay, but we see skill button number 2. Now, I'm still a little bit confused. So if we go back, let me see here. So if I go back one picture, here's skill number 2, right? But the information that we're talking about right now is associated with this picture right here. And I don't see that button unless he already used it. So maybe he's using the ability right now, or maybe he's holding that button down. I'm not sure. And that's what you would be using to counter the monster attack. So again, in the GIF, I think the Puke did do some type of attack with his tongue, and the adventure or counter attack, he retaliated right here. Well, it would show damage on the screen, wouldn't it, if that was the case? So I'm not sure. There is kind of that little pie chart, not pie chart. There's like a kind of a pie symbol. So we have our main button there, and then to the upper left of that, there's another button, and then to the upper left of that, that looks like what appears to be a circle that's mostly filled in with a little pie taken out of it. So maybe that's the button that he picked, and it's taken a second to refill. So for him to use it again, this is all speculation at this point. This is all speculation at this point. I haven't been able to try the game out, so I am not sure how it looks in real life. But let's go on to our next picture and see what that says. It says when the spirit gauge is at a high level, you can use skill number 3 to unleash spirit thrust and deal massive damage. So we do see a number 3 in the picture there. We have our main attack button in the lower left from that. We do see a number 3. And it's a big skill hit for the, I keep wanting to say great sword, but that's not it. I like the great sword, but this is not that. But we do see, okay, it looks like the gauge is full right underneath the player there. We do have our spirit gauge for our long sword. And it looks like it's full, and he's able to use that attack. I think that's what we're seeing. And there's also some different buttons, right? If we start looking around at the interface on the right-hand side, there's some different buttons there for the buddies that popped up that don't appear in the previous screen, right? So if we go back one screen, you see the buddies there. And then if we go back one screen, there is no buddy on the top here. So I wonder how you get those different things to trigger. Let's move on. When the spirit gauge is at a higher level, nope, that's one we just read. All adventurers can perform a perfect evade. All adventurers can perform a perfect evade by dodging at the exact moment a monster's attack is about to connect, triggering special follow-up moves. After being hit and sent off balance, you can tap the evade button to perform a quick recovery and get back on your feet. So again, in the previous video, there were some GIFs that showed this, right? And we see the indication there for the perfect dodge, and it's good that everybody will be able to do it. So I'm not sure if he must be being attacked right now. And maybe it gives you extra spirit gauge if you got your long sword. Maybe it does something else if you have a different ability. But notice the icon there in the lower right side. There's that roll. So that's for your dodging. There's a little roll icon in the lower right side. If we get that perfect dodge, you dodge at the right time, dodge the monster's attack, something good will happen, and you can use it to recover if you've been knocked down. If you've been knocked down, you can use it to recover. Hopefully, you don't get knocked out in the process. Let's move on to our next picture. This is a picture that, let's see. There's something here that I'm curious about. Okay. There's something here that I'm very curious about. The little symbol next to your adventurer there's a little Outlander symbol that looks like it's kind of glowing and filling up. I want to know more about that icon. It says, in addition, the squad shares a pool of energy that lets them unleash a special co-op skill. Once the adventurer activates it, the rest of the team must time their strikes to hit the same monster part for the skill to succeed. Each adventurer also has their own unique hunting techniques. Stay tuned for future updates. So again, that's the thing that I'm curious about. So what we're seeing in the picture here, there's a lot going on. So I don't know if you see our normal main character there in the middle, and then immediately to the right of him, there's that orange or yellow in red. It's kind of like, it looks like the Outlander symbol, like it's immediately to the right of the main character, and around the upper half of it, it's yellow, then it's black, and then in the middle, there's this red circle. And the little bit that we saw in the gifts, I don't know if you saw those again, the previous video, the red part in the middle there looked like it was filling up. So I'm wondering if this is how you know, right? If somebody activates this, if this is how you know that, hey, everybody's supposed to hit this part of the monster. In this case, it looks like it's on one of his legs. And you have this much time to do that. When this all fills up, then You don't have any more time left, or is it perhaps two separate things? Is it the time left and then the amount of hits that you've applied? That hey, you have to apply this many hits, this much damage to that part for everybody to hit it, and then in the gift that we saw, it staggered the monster. So it did a lot of damage. It broke the part and it caused the monster to be staggered. So I'm curious to see how that's actually going to work. Now I don't know if you are aware of also. Here's our main character. Give me 1 second. Dog's barking. Sorry about that. We're back in. We're back in. So we got the main character right there in the middle of the screen. To the left, I don't know if you can see that. To the left, it looks like we have Midori. And then to her left, it looks like there's a buddy there. It looks like a palico, right? It looks like a cat to me. It's kind of flying in the air and it's glowing. So I wonder if is everybody getting in on this attack when you put that icon on there? It's all the people, all the buddies are going after that one spot. I'm curious about this. We got Rathian here. And I don't know if you can see he's what do they call that? Radiant. It looks like he's radiant. He's glowing red. And if we look down his tail, kind of about 2/3 of the way down his tail, you go up a little bit. It looks like there's another buddy. Looks like there's another buddy. There's another cat looking thing, right? And then if you kind of look where the buttons start to be clustered, it looks like there is some type of a buddy move because it has a palico symbol on it. And then if you go straight up from there, we got Evelyn, right? It looks like Evelyn. And yeah, it looks like Evelyn. And then if you go all the way down, I'm just noticing this to the right-hand side, all the way on the right-hand side, it looks like another buddy. So is that Evelyn's? Was that your buddy? I think, right? That looks like another buddy down there at the lower right-hand corner. So there's a lot happening in this picture, man. There's a lot happening in this picture. A lot of good stuff. Let's go back to the blog. Taking on powerful monsters. It's essential to sharpen your skills through hunting, gathering materials, and forge and upgrade your equipment. True to Monster Hunter tradition, this title lets you forge and upgrade equipment using materials obtained from hunting, gathering, and other means. You can forge familiar equipment from the series, and by hunting the new Radiant species exclusive to this title, you can also forge entirely new gear. So let's take a peek at that crafting screen a little more closely. So here we got that same crafting screen, and we saw some of this on the Chinese side, right? But now it's in English for us. So now we can really get some more details as to what's actually being stated. So in the upper left-hand corner, it says forge weapons. So this is the forge screen. We have a picture of if we just go straight down, great sword, long sword, dual blades. There is the lance, bow and arrow, obviously, and I believe that's I don't know if that's a light or heavy bow gun symbol off the top of my head. I apologize for not knowing. Ecological rank 1A. And then above that, it says upgrade weapon. So this is the forge where you would do that, right? Where you would get those upgrades on the weapons. This is the normal basic weapon in the game, right? Because under the description, it says a crude set of iron dual blades that, despite their mass-produced quality, pack quite a punch. So every game that I know of, the normal, basic, everyday weapon, it says that underneath it. So this must be the introductory dual blades. So underneath that, we got more variations, right? We can forge, we can upgrade the weapons. So we have the bone hatchets. Again, there's a rarity involved. Crimson Plume Guild dual blades are also something that's available. So this screen is different from the other screen that we looked at in the last video, which is good, right? It's good to know about some of the different things. We see the things that are required to forge the item. There's some stone. I'm not sure what that symbol is there, the blue. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. We'll move over to this screen here about the sharpness And the information it says there is melee weapons have a sharpness level that determines how easily your attacks bounce off. However, in this title, sharpness does not deplete when you attack, so you won't need to restore it with whetstones. Interesting, and I'm for that. I'm for that, right? I'm for that. You don't have to so much run away from the monster and resharpen your weapon. I mean, I get it; it's cool, but not having to do that, that's okay with me. When forging weapons, be sure to consider not only the attack power and element, but also the sharpness. So it will bring a different strategic idea into the game, right? It will bring a different strategic idea into the game because although you won't be sharpening it in combat, the lower the sharpness is, the more likely for the weapon to bounce. And you're not getting that hit, you're getting stunned, you're getting knocked back, more opportunity for you to take damage, which we don't want. So you want those sharper weapons, obviously, right? So sharpness affects the effectiveness of melee weapons. As shown below, the sharpness bar changes color depending on its current level, with purple being the highest, and higher sharpness makes attacks less likely to bounce off monsters. Decorations also appear in this title. Slot decorations in your equipment to create your unique skill build. Obtain decorations through map expeditions and various activities. All right, that's reasonable. So if we look at that decoration screen, what we have on the left-hand side looks like this is all Kulu Yaku, right? This is all, yeah, Kulu Yaku equipment, except for that Crimson Plume Dual B at the top there, which is different than what we saw right on the last screen. Because that was Crimson Plume Dual A, I think. Let me take a look. We'll jump right back real quick. So on the forged weapon screen, third weapon down, Crimson Plume Guild Dual Blades A1. So is the B different? Is the B different? Crimson Plume Dual Guild B, is that different than the 1A or A1? I don't know, but it's interesting to see. So we got Kuliaku helmet, mail, braces, and coil. And on the right-hand side, obviously, we're starting to get our skills. We have an item prolonger, mind's eye, resuscitate, and survival expert. So your skill build, right, is also important as your ability. There's also a feature that lets you change your equipment's appearance without affecting its stats. Hunt in your favorite style. So we'll take a closer look here at the forged armor. And now we have Rhea, right? So that's Rhea in the middle of the screen, but she looks different. So Rhea is one of the other adventurers that you can have, right? She's one of the other adventurers besides yourself. And she looks different here. So I think this is an indication that you can indeed change the clothing of the other adventurers. So the speculation is that there will be the gotcha mechanic is either going to have something to do with these characters or their equipment, right? Not 100% sure. We'll have to see when the game comes out. What do we have here? Well, we have ecological rank A2, right? So I wonder what these are. So in the previous video, again, we saw a lot of A1s. So far, we saw A1s, and now we're seeing A2. What does that mean? Is that better? Is that a higher rank? Or is it a different style? And we have some armor sets here. We have the Great Jagras, Kuyaku, what she's wearing, which is different than the one that she's wearing right here. Looks different than the base set that she comes with when the game starts, right? We got a Puke set and a Great Gyro set. So that's what we can see so far. So at least we know that those creatures are confirmed. Why wouldn't they be? But it's just good to know for sure. So we see again her skill set here, the same skills we saw before: item prolonger, mind's eye, resuscitate, survival expert. And it looks like to craft some of this set, these are the required materials. So it's going to cost 40,000 Zenny. Is that for a whole set? Thanks. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. So we got some scales are needed. We need some stuff from that creature there It's going to be a Kulu, I assume. So I don't know. What else do you see here that we didn't know about? Right. Again, I think the big thing is that Rhea right there in the middle, she looks different. As you can see her straight down, you can see her normal picture, her portrait underneath. So she looks different. Again, confirmation that we can indeed change the appearance of the other adventurers. Expanding your gameplay through crafting. By making use of crafting, you can interact with the locale in new ways and make discoveries. Chop down trees and mine ore to obtain the materials needed for crafting. So that's nothing new, right? Chop down trees, mine ore. Got a little tree symbol. I got a better picture of it. So there's our tree with scout flies on it. So it's probably indicative that this is a mission, right? So it's probably early in the game. The game's probably just showing you, hey, this is how you play. This is how you chop some trees down. So we got our axe with the tree symbol. But interestingly enough, if you follow the adventurer's head to the left, there's kind of an explosion symbol. I'm curious about that. Wonder what's going on there. Take our adventurer's head once again and go to the right, like where the tree is, and keep going to the right. There's some type of rock outcropping with like three little rocks sticking up. Something's glowing in there. Once again, curious, very curious about that. What else do we know? Use the build button to consume materials and build various facilities useful to your adventure. One, we have the catapult. It launches adventurers in a chosen direction to quickly cover large distances. Two, wind platform. Uses wind power to lift adventurers into the air and reach higher ground. Three, the zip line links uneven or distant points with a wire, allowing you to traverse difficult terrain with ease. Stay tuned for future updates on other field facilities. So, in my opinion, what it's saying here is if you pretty much just want to go in a straight line, that you use a catapult. If you need to go up, right, it's just a vertical stretch, you're going to want that wind platform. And if you need some type of different change in elevation, you need to do both, go forwards and up or down. Zip line is the way to go. But now notice something about the picture here. Notice something about the picture. So right at the top, right, it says build limit 0 of 12. So are we limited to 12? Or in some way we are, right? In some way we're limited to 12 things to build. Now, is it 12? In this case, this looks like the zip line. Is it 12 of those? Or is it 12 items total that you would be limited to? What are your thoughts? Does anybody know the answer? On the screen, are you limited in your area to 12? And is this throughout the whole map? Is this just in a certain region? And what are some things we see on the right hand side you can build there? Well, the cost of this, it looks like there is a 60 with a 3. So it's 3 pieces of wood to build the catapult here. Then there's our wind platform, Bastilla, which is or ballista, which I think is the zip line. We'll have to see. Barbecue spit, camp, item box. Those are the things we can build. You can also craft many useful items with the materials you've gathered. Make good use of them to give yourself an edge in your adventure. Well, what are some of the things that we have? This is the crafting screen. It says medicine on one side. It says items on the other side. Now, notice on the left-hand side there, it says new under the medicine symbol, and then it says new again. I'm assuming that's that item symbol. And I believe that just means you have new recipes. There's new things that you can make that the last time you checked the screen, you couldn't make before, or you haven't made yet in some way, shape, or form. And here are the individuals making potions. We see the little tree symbol there. He has 4. It's going to cost 2 to make that potion. So he has a slider there since he could do 2 of them. 2 and 2 is 4. All right, craft 1 pieces, or you can craft 2 pieces to use up all the stuff to make potions, which is fine. There's a craft button and there's a auto craft. So on the previous video, we see like the stuff on the left side, a potion, mega potion, antidote, energy drink. One of those had like a symbol on it for that auto craft. So my assumption is that when you use that auto craft, then whenever you right, so if it was on the potions, then whenever you would pick up leaves and you would have enough, you have two, it would make you that potion just as you're going along. So something to keep in mind might make life easier in some way, shape, or form. But then if you're not paying attention, uh, you could just run out of your materials, which isn't good. All right. Next portion, set out for Aso Land. Unravel the mysteries of Aso Land through hunting, crafting, and expeditions. All kinds of monsters appear simultaneously on the world map, allowing you to hunt them at your leisure any time. I think that is a huge point. That's a huge point right there. Again, I don't know for sure. I'm not in the beta. I don't know for sure. But I think what's being implied here is different, right? Different than what we saw in Monster Hunter now. It says that you can hunt them at your leisure at any time. So hopefully that means there's no like stamina system that just because you're walking around that you just start losing stamina. You can only actually actively play for a little bit of time. Hopefully this is saying, hey, like it says, you can hunt them at your leisure. So when you feel like playing anytime, you can get in and hunt some monsters, right? I think that if that's the case, I think that's great. As your adventure progresses, the field's ecological rank rises and monsters continue to grow stronger. So let's look closer at this map, okay? Let's look closer at this map. So it says map in upper left-hand corner. Underneath that, it says Outlands. And I'm assuming that that's that area of the map that we see that's lit up in the yellow. Because it looks like the map is broken into 3-ish sections, right? So on the left of the yellow area is the village. Then it says Outlands, which matches, right? If you can see that, he's next to the Kulu Yaku in the middle. You can kind of see the word Outlands. And then again, the screen that we're clicked on also says Outlands. Exploration progress 10%. So does that mean we've been into 10% of that area? Maybe there's a fog of war. I'm not sure. On the left-hand side, it looks like we have some different things that we can do. Just like different monsters, different items, insects, probably stuff like that. And that all fills up in those quests over there. And all that is overlaying. Well, if we look at the bottom, across the bottom there, facilities, expedition, resources, treasure, level 3. So facilities has a check mark. So maybe that's what these buildings are. Not buildings. I'm assuming that's what these buildings are. So the other things on the map, which are not monsters, the little triangle things, right? Looks like a tent to me. Looks like a tent. So I'm assuming, right, that that's one of your bases that you can have out there in the world. Your little base, right? That makes sense to me. Any other thoughts on that? I'd be willing to listen. Again, if you're going down to the right-hand side on the bottom, that level 3, I'm wondering about that. Like, is that the level of our character or is that the level of the area? It looks like all the monsters here are level 1. And I've heard some feedback that like, hey, if you're fighting monsters that are too strong, they just KO you in one hit. And what they mean by too strong is like one level too strong. So I don't know if that's actually part of the game. Pardon me. Or that's just right now what certain people are running in the testing that obviously the developers don't want you to just run around the whole world, right? You need to progress and play the game. So I'm assuming that they just have something turned on that if you try to fight something that's one level, right, it just keeps you contained in your area. If you go one step outside your area, that the monster is going to KO you. And hopefully that's not how the actual game is. Maybe it just means we have to grind and stay within a tighter window, but I'm not sure. One individual did bring out here. So if we go from to the right of that yellow area, it looks like it's muddy, is what it says in the middle. Muddy something. But there is a purple critter up here. That's a Jagras, right? That's a great Jagras, but he's purple. Now, what is meant by that? Let me see if I have the picture. We had a gentleman submit a picture on the Discord. So if you're not involved in a Discord, I'll put it in the description. There's a lot of great discussion that goes on in there. A lot of great discussion that goes on there in the Discord. And let me find this individual's name. Let me see. Um, Serrator. So we got Serrator who brought this in from the Discord. He said, "Hey, this was at the Tokyo Game Show." He said this was the icon for Radiant Monsters. It has this purple color theme. So that was Raider who brought that in on the Discord. So give that brother a thumbs up if you see him. And so the reason why, again, that's important is because if we go back and we look, I got to find my screen again. If we go back and we look at our map, right? So that Jagras is purple. So it's probably a Radiant Jagras. That makes sense, right? It's probably a Radiant Jagras. Cool, right? So he'll have something special. He'll be harder to deal with. He'll have something special. And that's how we get some of that special gear to move on and get ourselves a little bit stronger. It says we've also included a wide variety of activities alongside the arena. This title features plenty of unique content of its own. Some require teamwork with your allies, while others are high difficulty quests where you face even more formidable monsters. More details will be announced in the future. So, what do you think that means? There are some things that require teamwork, right? So, missions that require teamwork, does that mean that it's a team hunt? Or are there other things that are going on where you're trying to activate those levers and things like that to get something happening? I'm curious. And we got those high difficulty quests where you face even more formidable monsters. So those high difficulty quests, are those perhaps the Radiant quests? Would there be quests for Radiant monsters? Again, I want to hear your thoughts. So the picture they showed here, we got Rhea, in the middle, and this looks like the arena, right? This looks like the arena. We see the enclosure, the wooden enclosure. So this looks like the arena. Usually it's time attack or practice against a certain monster. So I wonder what this will have to do, right? If it's just a standard arena, or is there something extra? Is there something different that's going to be brought into play? The world map is packed with expeditions. Taking a tour between hunts to try something different is part of the fun. We've got 3 little mini games here. 1, Zen Stone Balance. Adjust the position and angle of stones to stack them to the target height. 2, Wing Treasure Hunt. Tap the button when the circles align to wear down the wyvern stamina. Egg Heist Challenge. Hide in the grass to avoid monsters and carry eggs to the goal. Look forward to future updates for more features and details. Let's take a closer look at these screens. So here's our egg chase, our egg run, right? So we got our adventurer, he's got the egg. If we look at the buttons, it looks like you can put it down on the right. If there's a roll, maybe. If you roll with the egg, do you drop it? And then there's a crouch. So maybe that's the button that we've seen people like hiding in the bushes and stuff like that. So maybe you have to do some of that. And we see a Jagras to his left with a question mark on his head. What's going on, man? Is this a Jagras egg? What's going on? Is that a Jagras egg? Is my guy wondering what you're doing? Interesting to see. Number 2, Treasure Wyvern Stamina. It's at the top. So that's that golden health bar, I guess. It's the stamina for the wyvern. And as it said, like it's hitting the button at the right time. So I'm kind of thinking of maybe the symbols kind of collapse in those little concentric circles. And when they hit the middle, that's when you want to try to push the button in some type of rhythm. And if you do that right, it wears the creature down. If you don't do it, maybe he doesn't get worn down. On the left-hand side there, we see there's a map, and immediately to the right of the map, there is a timer. So we obviously only have a certain amount of time. This says 29. So I don't know if you can start out with 30 seconds. With button pushing. We'll have to see. And then what happens when you do that? What happens when you win? You just get a check mark. Is there like, again, is there some type of like time attack where you can put your time against other people's time? So we're looking back at that map again and going underneath. Approach the treasure wyvern and deplete its health to obtain its treasure. So I guess that's the answer. Whatever he's carrying, he gives it to you. Maybe you could either retry. Man, I'm not going to win, so I'm just going to hit retry or end the challenge. This just isn't for me today. I don't want to do it anymore. End the challenge. And finally, we got the thing with the stones where you're using the force to put the stones up. Adjust the position of specific stones to stack your tower height. So I believe what we're looking at here is the numbers at 1.1 is where you are right now. And that 2 is the goal in this case. You're trying to stack them up to get to that 2. So I wonder what the challenge will be. Will there be different shapes or something like that? And that's what makes the challenge in the game mode. I'm curious. Aceland is home to a wide variety of monsters and endemic creatures. Find and capture them to complete various research objectives. So it looks like a guy here is trying to collect some bugs. Looks like. Let's see if I got that picture. So it looks like a guy's here trying to collect some bugs. We see the net and the interface there on the right-hand side. That's lit up. There's a bird of some sort right there inside of the square. So that must be your target area. So throw the net, catch the bird, put it in your book, right? See if you can catalog all the creatures, put them all in your book. I get it. Let's see. It says the closed beta is the first time we're inviting players to test Monster Hunter Outlanders. In just half a day since the server launched, we've received an incredible amount of feedback and suggestions from adventurers, and we're truly grateful for your enthusiasm. This game is still in development, and we recognize that there is still much to refine in terms of quality and content. We will take all your feedback to heart and continue improving and adjusting the game. Your adventure on Aceland has only just begun. We will keep working hard to deliver an even more exciting experience, and we hope you'll continue to follow and support this title, the Monster Hunter Outlander team. Well, all right. So what are your thoughts, man? There was a lot going on there, man. There was a lot going on. A lot. I'm excited for the game. I want to see how it looks. The little bit that I've heard is good. The screenshots that you've seen at the Tokyo Games, the stuff that's out there online, looks really smooth. It looks really smooth. So again, interested to see how it performs on your device. I'm expecting good things. Monster Hunter, it's fast paced, so it's going to need to be smooth. It looks good. It looks good so far. Again, I didn't get in on the beta. There is another one coming up at some point, and it's again at some point between now and then the game comes out, right? So we'll get to find out one way or another. But again, what weapon do you think you're going to be using? What monsters are you interested in seeing? These challenges that they're talking about, what do you think they will be? These group challenges. I'm really curious to know what these group challenges are all about. We got Chewy the dog down here. He's coming up, trying to get some love. He's trying to get some love. You want me to pick him up? Now he wants to get back down. But hey, again, I want to hear from you. What questions you have about the game. I got tons of questions. We'll see if we can find them answered. I will be linking the Discord in the description. So we'll have my Discord and the official Monster Hunter Outlander Discord. There's a lot of discussion going on there. So jump in, ask some questions. There's some pictures that people have, other information that people have about the game. It's been tested in a couple different regions, so there is some information that's out there and available. There is some stuff, obviously, that people can't talk about. But hey, we'll just keep our ear to the grind. Let me know what weapon is going to be your main and what monster you're thinking about tracking down pretty quick. Is there an Elder Dragon that you hope makes it into this game? I'd like to know the answers to those questions. Otherwise, man, take care of yourself and your family. Peace.